I asked my grandma once, what happens when you make a bad choice?
When I got the script, through my agents, that's kind of like the process started. Then I was reading the script and I couldn't stop, which rarely happens.
Okay.
It's I get so many scripts sometimes where I'm like page 10, I'm like, okay, I go back.
Right.
And with this one, I was like, I wanted to know. I was like, what was next and next and next, so I couldn't stop reading.
Everybody relax, okay? Just relax.
The truth, guys. All you have to do is tell the truth.
I think one of the first things we talked about was the language of the story and how we would shoot it. And I remember telling you that I was interested in close-ups versus wide. We wanted to make sure that they mattered. We didn't want to overdo it. We wanted the performances to be natural. Less is more. I don't want the camera doing a bunch. And he said, no, it's not that type of film, you know what I mean? But I think being able to shoot in one location and the fear that it can turn into looking like a stage play and it could be very boring, I think that was going on the inside. So we had discussions, I don't know if you remember early on, it was how can we keep the camera moving? One thing, handheld, because even if you're as still as you think you are, the camera's still moving. So just keeping that sort of kinetic energy from the camera, I think was another language that I wanted to keep in there.
Another thing that I remember was also changing like from the objective point of view to the subjective point of view. Starting more objective, we're observing this character, slow dollies, that the movie starts more like craft, and then we start to break that into the handheld and more this subjective of like that the camera is another character. Another thing that I was very attracted to, it was like, that's a story that happens in one night and in one location. And I was like, I want to have that challenge. There was something unknown, but I love that of projects. I try to choose projects where I don't feel safe. I want to explore. I have no idea. I was very honest with you, but it was like, okay, let's together get there. And another very important thing, like starting the conversation about shooting on film. That was also another challenge, making a movie by night with like dark-skinned people in one location, shooting on film. I was like, okay, I want to take
That's a challenge. Here we go.
And I remember you were mentioning how important it was to shoot by night, like how the actors, like the mindset.
I think having the actors feel like they are really in it. It's 2 a.m. in the film and it's 2 a.m. in real life. What does that do to your body? What does that do to your mind? How are you now just a little bit more frazzled or a little bit tense or a little drowsy, And then everyone loved it as we were going on. They were just like, this has really helped. It was a great decision.
I think there is always some artificiality when you shoot like in one location and you have to block the windows and make it look like night.
You feel it, right? I mean, you might not notice it, but
even if you make it the most realistic way, I agree. I prefer to have like the real night. It was like an intense shoot for sure in that sense of like, of course, shooting on film, you don't really know what is coming until the day after.
Correct. It's a very interesting concept that you bring up is that you have to wait. You don't know what you shot. Digital, okay, right away. Oh, we got the dailies, they look great, keep going. I know you got 2 more hours today, but what you just shot was great. And we watched it in the office and they're like, we're shooting on film, you're not gonna see this for 24 hours. We may have to shoot it again, That's the detail of shooting on film that I think another thing that people don't think about. And I guess that's why everyone always asks questions, are you sure? Do you really want to shoot on film? Because I think it'd be a lot easier if we just did digital. It's gonna take longer, it might take more days, it's gonna cost more money, but I think as a producer, you have to know where the money should go. I always believed that the choices we made belonged to us. And no matter what, the decisions and the consequences
were left for us alone to deal with.
I know the testing for a film, especially when you're shooting on film, you want to see how it looks, you want to see the texture and all of that. What was sort of your thought process there?
Yeah, I mean, it was like also my first feature film in 35. And I think for me it was clearly, of course, the technical side of like how the film, if I need to push, and especially by night. And then, as everyone knows, we have like thousands of lenses that we can choose now. And I tried to do what is not like the trend. And I was like, okay, what if we shoot with the Hawk spherical T1 lenses? Yes. And I remember, like, I think I'm never gonna forget that day that we were at PhotoChem and we project both the digital and the film, and your amazing speech there. And then the producers, they were like, okay, because it's like you have to see it in big. And I think what it was very important, more than any technical part, it was like the feeling. Film has the same quality of vinyl records. It's like there is something that happens inside that resonates with you. And I think what it was also interesting is like I was operating also this movie.
That's true. You were holding the camera the whole time.
Yeah,
and
we were like having like a couple of times where we have a steady cam.
Yes.
Because also we have a combination of many things in the movie, like dolly, steady cam, and handheld.
Yes.
And all the handheld I was operating because it's like my
theme.
But
the majority is handheld.
It's handheld.
You operated the majority of this whole shoot.
And that was for me very important as helping in that part of like feeling, that like it was honest, that I was correct, and also that we create a very claustrophobic movie. And I think that's one of the things that I feel more proud of. We took like so many risks that even like going backwards now in this part of my career and my life, I'd be like, maybe I will be more safe.
Now that's right.
I like the Alejandro of like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know that. That's right. That's right.
Because also you gave me all that freedom.
There was a scene where I was in the kitchen and I just hung up with the police department, and like my hands are on my head, and you like just came in so and it got very blurry and all sorts, and we were like, it doesn't matter, that's perfect. It was those sorts of moments to me, like where we just said, let's be free. However this lands, it's gonna resonate. And a scene like that and a moment like that sticks out in my head because if you wrote down the technical how it should happen, that's not what you would see. But then when you watch it, you're like, oh, I feel that moment.
Yeah, I think that's what is like the beauty of the movie is that is like how it makes you feel more than is like perfect.
Yes.
And I think like coming from this also Japanese influence, like the concept of wabi-sabi that is embrace the imperfection.
Daddy, are you gonna be in trouble?
One thing that we talked, it was also about like the presence of blue, like talking about the color. I think I was very interested in the blue because I love how the blue light renders on like dark skin. And of course, when you're shooting on film, you need to know which filters you're gonna put in the lights or which color, because now we work with LD lights and all that. But it was a combination also of like working with Hitoshi. He was like, oh, but I never shot a movie on film, I'm worried. And I was like, yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
I got you. But I remember also that after the first week where we started like more with your character, that he was like, oh, I have to order more lights. Like the digital sensors, they hate light. And film loves light. And that was exactly the example, because we're having very big units of light and a lot of tungsten, because I think tungsten is still like the most beautiful light. And I use this like steel green filter in every light and HMIs, and to get this like texture that it was also this separation of like some blue but like a little greenish of like the night.
But your level of detail with that and wanting to make sure that it looked the right way, and the vision that you had in terms of color, and me being colorblind, which we had our conversations, and I was like, I can't, this is where I need to lean on you, because I'm like, I can't see these colors like you. And then even, I remember during the post-process, when we went to color the film, and you were in New York, I said, we're about to color the film, and there's no way I can sit in there. I was like, I need you to come. And you like lived in LA for the color process, and just watching you get so detailed about the colors and no, it needs to do this, and still knowing what I was dealing with, not being able to see it well, you still would go to me and say, how's that? Do you like that? And I'm like, I think it's great,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think another very important thing is like to watch it on a big screen, because that's gonna make also a big difference. Once you're in the theater, then you really feel the grain and the organic look.
I think it's a blessing that we're gonna be in theaters, because we talked about it a lot, and we said, you know, we're making a movie for the theaters. The knife is gonna be it should be in the theaters. And then you get in the post-production process and you start to see how difficult it is for independent films to even get looked at by people. And I think we started saying, well, if we just go digital and stream it, it's totally fine.
At least we saw it at Tribeca.
Yeah, at least we got to see it on the big screen. No one else will, but we saw it. And so now the fact that we actually are getting ready to go out there and that we are in theaters is, it's great.
Did your dad say what happened?
Wait, don't say a word.
Kendra?
I don't understand why you're trying to talk to her without me.
Hey! Whoa!